Hey, what's up everyone? Raging Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. And today I would like to head off another common complaint I get at the past before I get even more of them giving recent comments I've made. And that would be, I've pretty much said we actually need to bring back gatekeeping. We need to gatekeep out people who are openly hostile to our communities and our hobbies, because what could they possibly contribute of value? They just destroy it. They shouldn't be allowed in. And some people don't like it, and I'm just here to say, there's actually a much better alternative that I myself have used on multiple occasions to great success. So if you don't want to personally evict people, except in maybe extreme cases, here's what you can do. I still hold that the best defense against NPC infiltration is to simply make your community and/or what your community is about as openly hostile to the NPCs as possible in the first place. Then you don't have to worry about any of that pesky gatekeeping, you know? You would just make them leave on their own. So just make something and foster the type of community that is opposed to everything they stand for, and when they show up just to bitch, the problem is gonna solve itself. Perfect example, my video intro. The intro I use to my pre-recorded videos on my channel. Whenever someone complains in my comments, and every couple of weeks or so I do get one of these, they complain that they would have watched my video, they were interested in the topic, but that cringy intro turned them away. I respond to every one of those I see with something along the lines of, yeah, that's what it's there for. I specifically asked for that intro to be the way it is, to filter out snowflakes like you, because I don't want you in my community. That's why it exists. It's a filter. Yeah, but the question now is, what if they stay around? What if your product or even other filter mechanisms like intros aren't enough? What if your content itself isn't enough to drive them away? Well, simply having a platform, or a community in this case, that actually values free speech is more than enough to keep them out. You don't actually have to necessarily evict them, just ignore them when they come crying to moderators because someone hurt their feet, and the community will sort them out in short order. That's a pattern I've noticed going back decades with these parasites. They are worthless, powerless sacks of shit. They can't do anything on their own, but they are very good at reeing and crying and shrieking until a moderator or anybody else in a position of power gives them what they want to shut them up. That's the only power they have. They can never fight back on even ground. No, the second someone does something that they don't like, they demand, you better stop this. And if your response is, no, fuck off, then what do they do next? They cry to mommy. They cry to a moderator, or the government even in some cases. They cry to someone in a higher position of authority to give them their way. Like, well, little Billy won't do what I want. You need to tell him to do what I want. And I'm not going to stop crying and bothering you until you do. That's how they get their way. They throw a fucking tantrum to someone in a position of power until the person in a position of power gives them what they want to shut them the fuck up. So if you nurture the type of community where everyone who's in a position of power responds to these whiners by muting them, maybe even kicking them out. I've said this before. I've had one person I had to actually ban from my Discord channel, and it was for reasons, these exact reasons. They were banned from my Discord server because every time they got into an argument with somebody, they were DMing me and crying to me that I need to do something about all these people that they don't like. And I got fucking sick of it. And I told them, either you put them on mute or block them and stop interacting with them, or just leave the server because you're clearly not cut out to be here. And of course the response was more whining, so I fucking banned his ass. People like that, I mean, you may still eventually need to kick out the bad apples, sure. But, yeah, that was pretty rare. Like I said, my Discord server is self-policing. I've seen a few people rage quit it because they couldn't handle it, and fine, it's just like 4chan in that regards. As long as no one's doing anything that'll get my server banned, then they could... Anything else is fair game. I don't fucking care. If you don't like somebody, you fucking mute them. That's all you gotta fucking do, man. So as soon as you remove these parasites' ability to cry to some higher power to enforce their will in their place, they got nothing. But by God, they're gonna try. You know how it goes. Like, look at what they did with Alex Jones. They cried to pretty much every big tech company until they all deplatformed Alex Jones at once. Now he's on his own site, and now they're crying to the people who host his site to get him deplatformed from that too. Without their betters constantly giving them what they want just to make them shut the fuck up, these whining parasites have no power whatsoever. All they do is whine and cry and complain, and they throw tantrums until they're given what they want. And this is where we get to the next important part. In addition to fostering a community and products that are mutually exclusive with these NPCs that are opposed to everything they stand for, you also need to give people the ability to block and mute anybody. That is the best functionality ever right there. If your community members don't feel like fighting these fucking parasites, fine. Just let them make them invisible. Eventually the parasites are going to catch on that nobody's even listening to them anymore, and they're going to throw their tantrums somewhere else. Fuck, that's served me so well on Twitter over the years. If I don't feel like interacting with someone, I just fucking mute them. And before anyone complains like, "Where but my echo chamber?" You gotta think of why you are where you are. If, for example, I was on an anime forum because I want to talk about all this anime I love, and an NPC showed up that did nothing but complain about fucking everything and saying how much they hate anime and the community is so toxic, this anime is such garbage, why would I care what they have to say? I'm here for my love of this stuff. If they have legitimate criticisms, I'm willing to debate, but clearly they're not willing to do that. So just mute them and go about your business. All of these communities that give in to the NPCs, usually they sneak an NPC moderator in, and then they block any non-NPCs from ever becoming moderators again until they completely co-opt the community. And then they drive out everyone who was fun to interact with, and then they wonder why their community's dead because no one's talking anymore. I wonder. Very fucking curious, isn't it? So just simply giving people the ability to block and mute is a godsend. So then you don't even have to evict these NPCs. All you need to do is, let's say, you're always going to have someone letting you know, like, oh, hey, there's an NPC in here, you know, they're being a royal piece of shit. Can you do something about them? Then your response can just be, if you don't like them, mute them, and you never have to see them again. And eventually, if you're trying to have a conversation with a bunch of other people, and these NPCs keep coming in and just reeing and throwing tantrums and trying to derail the thread, imagine if everyone in the conversation just muted them and continued talking as if they're not there. That is the ideal solution, in my opinion. So if you don't want to resort to blatant gatekeeping, just create products and communities that openly state from the beginning, yeah, we are against everything you stand for, so don't you even try to come in. That's what we're doing with Blade Devil. since I got to get my shill in. You could tell by all the art we've put out, by all the stuff on the merch shop, we're advertising that we support everything the NPCs oppose. So I know if I catch any of them among my community, they're only there to cause trouble in the first place. So I'm going to let my own community fight them off themselves if they wish, because it's up to them whether they want to engage. And I sure as fuck ain't going to step in and help protect these NPCs' fifis when they get bit. So they can either engage or mute them. That's the best freaking solution right there. Declare your open hostility, and then just let nature run its course. And that's all I got to say, guys. Thanks for listening. In case some of you aren't aware yet, we actually have launched the Blade Devil merch shop. Link in the description box. So if you've ever wanted to support the channel but actually wanted something physical in return, we got the shop for you now. Lots of good stuff up in here. So if you would like any of those, or just in general want to support the channel, want to support original content, original products, like Diversity in Comics always used to say, then this is probably the best way to do it. So check it out. We're going to be adding new items on a monthly basis, at least in the near future. So check back often, and independent projects like the ones we're working on are only possible thanks to you guys. So appreciate all of your support.